volume, side. Yes. Om Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyan Nijantargatam Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bahirivodbhutan Yatha Nidraya Yasakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye Svatmanamevadvayam Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Bijasyantarivangkuro Jagadidam Prang Nirvikalpam Punaha Maya Kalpita Deshakal Kalana Vaichitra Chitri Kritam Maya Viva Vijrumbhayatyapi Mahayogi Vayasvechaya Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashaadhyayinim Ambatvamanusandathami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita tadgatena manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na vidussura suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. We are in chapter 7 and we have to see verse 14. But actually, most of the people I'm seeing for the first time. So I would like to give you what has gone by in chapter 7. They divide this Bhagavad Gita, Acharyas divide this Bhagavad Gita into 3 Shatkas. Shatka means a group of 6 chapters. First 6 chapters, they say the subject matter is the nature of an individual. Then 7 to 12 talks about the nature of Ishvara. And the last group of 6 chapters talk about the identity between the individual and Ishvara. So in this Shatkam, that is chapter 7 to 12, we are in the 7th chapter. And here Bhagavan does this pratigna. Bhagavan, makes an opening statement that I am going to deal with this nature of Ishvara, nature of God. So I will impart you the knowledge of the nature of Ishvara. And knowledge of Ishvara, Bhagavan, for that knowledge of Ishvara, Bhagavan uses two words. Jnanam, Vijnanam. That's how chapter 7 is called Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Jnanam is knowledge of Ishvara with attributes. Vijnanam, knowledge of Ishvara without attributes. So, Bhagavan says, I will give you the knowledge of Ishvara in terms of both. And then Bhagavan glorified this knowledge. What has gone in the first 3 verses of 7th chapter, I am telling you this. And Bhagavan glorified this knowledge also, that do not take this knowledge casually. In fact, more your commitment to this knowledge makes your life happy. In general, more the Ishvara in one's life, more the life has a peace, joy, security. So if one who is committed to this knowledge totally will be free from so-called samsara, suffering. So that's how he glorified before actually imparting the knowledge. And then Bhagavan, after giving this introduction by mentioning the subject matter, as well as the glory of this knowledge, well then, from 4th verse up to the 12th verse, Bhagavan discusses the main topic. Who is Ishvara? That is what Bhagavan is discussing in terms of Jnanam and Vijnanam both. And first Bhagavan defines Ishvara in terms of 2 principles, let us say, called Para-Prakriti, Apara-Prakriti. Prakriti means a material cause. Para-Prakriti. Bhagavan says, I am Para-Prakriti. I am material cause. Which is superior. Superior means superior in terms of reality. What is that Para-Prakriti? When say Bhagavan says, I am Para-Prakriti, means I am Brahman. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, which lends existence to everything. Thereby I am Upadana Karanam. Material cause lends existence to the effect. So, but at the same time, without undergoing any change in me, I lend existence to the entire creation. That's how Vivarta Upadana Karanam. Swaswarupa aparityagena Rupantar apattihi vivartaha. Swaswarupa, without undergoing any change, Rupantaram assumes another form. Like rope assumes the form of a snake without undergoing any change in its swarupam. Rope remaining rope assumes a form of a snake. The very existence of a snake is due to rope. So rope is vivartopadana karanam, so far as a snake is concerned, rope snake is concerned. So Brahman, Parameshwara, as a Para-Prakriti, as a Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, is Upadana Karanam of everything. It lends existence to everything. Entire creation, all names and forms exist due to Brahman. And well, but what about this changing thing? Well, same Brahman with a Upadi, Mithya Upadi which is non-separate from the Brahman, the Shakti. Because you definitely now, Parameshwara has to show himself as a cause of the creation in other manner, creator. So, well, he has this Shakti, Mithya Shakti, non-separate from him, we call Maya. Brahman through this Maya Shakti, well, as a Ishvara, creates Panchamahabhutas, manifests as a Panchamahabhutas, etc., and the entire creation. All elements and elemental creation means the entire Jagat, which is constantly changing. Well, that is also Ishvara. This is called Apara Prakriti. So, Apara Prakriti means Ishvara is a Parinami Upadhanakara, changing material cause, changeless material cause. So, from the standpoint of Brahman, changing material cause from the standpoint of Maya. Brahman does not undergo any change. But through Maya, well, it transforms into 5 elements and elemental world. What are the common features and uncommon features between Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti? Well, the common feature is both of them are beginningless. Brahman is beginningless. Maya also is beginningless. Or you say Para Prakriti is beginningless. Apara Prakriti is beginningless. Consciousness is also never created, not creatable. Maya is not created. Maya is not creatable. Both the Prakritis. You can, in general, we can say from the standpoint of a spirit and matter, you can, in a rough translation of a Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti, spirit and matter, you can say. Anyway, so matter also is not created. The law of conservation of matter very well reveals that, well, matter is also not created. Matter is, which is not created, is anadi, beginningless. Brahman is anadi, Paraprakriti is anadi, Aparaprakriti, Maya also is anadi. So that's a common feature between them. Uncommon feature, well, one is changing. Aparaprakriti is changing. In terms of Maya, in terms of elements, in terms of elemental world, it is changing. And in terms of a Paraprakriti, well, it is non-changing. That's a difference. Common feature, uncommon feature. This is first information regarding the nature of God, discussed between verse 4 to 12 in general. Then Bhagavan gave an additional important knowledge, and that Ishvara, well, who is this Para and Apara Prakriti, alone is the cause of the entire world. So entire world is manifestation of Ishvara, Upadana Karanam, etc. Anyway, and from there Krishna derives an important corollary, well, which is very important for the future development of the teaching, and that is Ishvara being the cause, and world being the effect ultimately. The important corollary is, well, whatever is there in the world is the manifestation of Ishvara. That's what Bhagavan said also in initial verses. Like, I give you an example of the 8th verse. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayoho pranavas sarva vedeshu shabdakhe paurusham nrushu. Rasoham apsu kaunteya, I am the taste, basic taste. In the water, he kaunteya, he Arjuna. Prabhas shashi suryaho prabha aham asmi. I am the very light, well, in the moon, sun and moon. Sarva Vedeshu Pranavaha, I am the Omkara in all the Vedas. Essence of all the Vedas ultimately is Pranavaha, that is me. Shabdaha Ke, well, I am the sound in the space. Paurusham Nrushu, among the human beings. It's a Nirdharana Saptami, Nrushu Madhye Aham Paurusham. So basically, I am the strength in all the human beings, etc. So like that, whatever is manifestation of Ishvara alone, and therefore the world is not secular for us; it is a very divine thing. Anyway, and So we can say whatever we experience right now is all this matter, apara prakriti only. World is a matter, body is a matter, the mind is a matter, the senses are matter. Everything what we experience is basically this apara prakriti. Body also definitely has certain chemicals. Chemicals are outside. Inside also all chemicals, so-called biochemicals. Mind also involves a biochemistry. Right? All our emotions are controlled by the drugs. Depression is there, people take a medicine. So mind also must be of the same nature. Anyway, so it's a matter, apara prakriti. Anyway, then what is this para prakriti? Well, that's what Bhagavan said. Jiva bhutam mahabaho dharyate idam jagat. So, well, the one who experiences this apara prakriti, the world, etc., is this para prakriti. Means basically the consciousness before creation, which we call Brahman. The same consciousness obtained after the creation of body, mind, senses as a jiva, the individual. But ultimately it is para prakriti, consciousness alone. And therefore, the one who experiences the world, which needs consciousness, of course, that is para prakriti. What is experienced is apara prakriti. The experiencer is, in essence, para prakriti. That's what is told here. So this is between verse 4 to 12. Bhagavan describes both the types of material causes, the very adhishthanam of the entire creation, as well as what is manifest, everything is me alone. And then from verse 13 to 19, Bhagavan deals with this topic of a cause of suffering. Jiva suffering. Jiva is suffering, right? Jiva has a sense of limitation. It has a sense of fear, insecurity, anxiety, and various other things. All this is called samsara. So what is the cause of the suffering for this jiva? That has been discussed. And Bhagavan has shown also where to focus so that you can become free from the samsara. What is the cause of this samsara suffering? Bhagavan says, well, when the world is available, Lord is available in the form of this world, in form of apara prakriti, the matter, principle. While these jivas basically, since they are preoccupied with this body, mind, sense complex, due to maya's avarana shakti, due to not knowing that I am essentially consciousness, Brahman, while they take themselves to be body, mind, sense complex and suffer from the sense of a lack, in order to get rid of this sense of limitation, they look outward, look towards apara prakriti for fulfillment, for security. They lean upon the apara prakriti. They lean upon apara prakriti for fulfillment, for happiness, for peace, for security. And when we are depending upon this apara prakriti, well, what is wrong? Wrong is because it is constantly changing. Itself is time-bound. Itself is insecure, limited. Well, and you seek a security through that. And that is the disaster, right? You lean upon something which is moving, changing, well, you will fall down. That is what is happening. So, Bhagavan is telling the cause of samsara is this extrovertedness, looking to the para prakriti for the fulfillment. So that is the cause. Apara prakriti will never remain steady, and well, and so leaning upon that is not worthy. So leaning upon an insecure thing, well, is going to be, I have that notion that leaning upon this insecure thing, actually, considering as a secure, well, is called samsara. Not the world is samsara, because people will object. You say world is Ishvara, apara prakriti. Then you say it is a samsara, means Ishvara is samsari. So, but looking upon this apara prakriti as a source of security. Bhagavan says, I am a source of security, but apara prakriti, not apara prakriti. So, looking upon it as a jagat, as a source of security, happiness, etc., well, definitely is that kind of a drishti attitude is samsara. Then why should Bhagavan has to manifest in the form of world? If it is not going to give me fulfillment, peace, security or happiness, then why he has to manifest ultimately? After manifestation and creating a totally different perception about the Jagat, instead it would have remained only as a Paraprakriti. But a Paraprakriti is also equally useful. In fact, whatever the usefulness in transaction is there, that is apara prakriti only. That's how Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Nama Rupa Karma. Karma means a prayojanam. In transaction, if to sustain your life, you need all this. But to gain fulfillment, to gain security, to gain peace, to gain happiness, same apara prakriti cannot fulfill this promise. General transaction by which you can sustain the life, etc., that is fine. So it has a certain usefulness. The world has a usefulness. It's not useless. But to achieve the human goal, basic human goal, well, that is not sufficient. You have to look at the other aspect of the Ishvara, that is Paraprakriti, etc. So, we need not throw away this Aparaprakriti. And Bhagavan said in 13th verse, Tribhir gunamayair bhavaihi ebihi sarvamidam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mam ebhyah param avyayam. So basically, this entire world, well, is deluded by these the things which are modification of three gunas, Maya, which is we call Aparaprakriti. They do not know me, the world do not know me, that actually I am a changeless entity, free from all attributes, etc., free from gunas. Ebhyah param. Compared to Aparaprakriti, Paraprakriti is superior. In fact, Aparaprakriti, Maya is totally dependent upon me. The world is totally dependent upon me for existence, etc. That's lower in reality, whatever. So that is, well, people do not know me. Mohitam. World is deluded. So Bhagavan himself says, don't pay your attention to this apara prakriti, even though it is me. And then 14th verse we'll have to begin. Bhagavan says something in that. Daivi hyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya Mame vaye prapadyante Maya metam tarantite. How to cross over this apara prakriti then? Because to live a life is to relate. If you say, I will not relate to the world, then you are not living a life. You may be alive. A person in coma is alive, but not relating to life, relating to the world. So we never say he is living a life. No doctor will say he is living a life, Swamiji. He is alive, you may say. Living a life, well, to relate to the world. When I relate to the world, well, I basically lean upon the world. And all the samsara arises. What to do? How to cross this apara prakriti, how to cross this maya. So Bhagavan says you have to pay attention. You have to surrender somewhere else. That's what Bhagavan is telling here. Introducing the Bhashyakara says, Katham punaha daivim etam trigunatmikam vaishnavim mayam atikramanti iti uchyate. So if the entire humanity is trapped by this maya, by this apara prakriti, it seems there is no way out. Or is there a way or out or not? Well, Bhagavan says, yes, there is a way out. This is the topic of this shloka. Katham punaha, katham, how? Punaha, indeed. How indeed? Janaha atikramanti. Janaha instead will, rather than saying people, jiva. Jivaha atikramanti. How come, how indeed, these people or the jivas, atikramanti, crossover, what? Mayam, this powerful Maya Devi. What type of Maya Devi? Daivim, right? Daivim. Devi means Devasya Iyam. Daivim. Devasyam. Belongs to Deva. Belongs to Paraprakriti. Belongs to Ishvara. Belongs to Brahman. Belongs to Brahman. Such a Maya. So it automatically Bhagavan is telling that it is under my control. Right? So it belongs to me, Bhagavan says. You are not able to cross. I can understand because it doesn't belong to you. You are not a master, but I am a master. Katham punaha daivim etam trigunatmikam. And well, trigunatmikam, which is in the form of three gunas. Not Maya has three gunas. That's a wrong expression. Maya is triguna. That's it. Maya is in form of this sattva, rajas, tamas. So how we will cross over this para-prakriti which belongs to this para-prakriti, trigunatmikam, which is endowed with three gunas or which is three gunas. Vaishnavim, which belongs to Vishnu. Bhashyakara adds some more adjectives. Which belongs to Vishnu. Vishnu means here para-prakriti because the meaning of the Vishnu given by the Acharya is sarvam veveshti iti Vishnu. Well, which basically, who is all-pervading, that's called Vishnu. That is Brahman. So, Vaishnavim means basically this which belongs to Vishnu, which belongs to all-pervading Brahman. So, Katham punaha daivim etam triguna etam, which is under discussion, prakritam. So, trigunatmikam Vaishnavim mayam atikramanti. Well, how will they cross? Iti uchyate. The answer. Uttaram uchyate. This answer is given by Bhagavata, by Bhagavan himself in this present verse. In the next line itself, Bhagavan gives the answer. So here word duratya is Daivi Hyesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratya. Duratya means extremely difficult to cross. So here, which is of course extremely difficult to cross, but it is not impossible. Why? How can you say, Swamiji, it is like that? In the first line it is said Duratya. Atyaya is, Bhashyakara will explain. Atikramanam. Crossing over is very difficult. Dukkhena atyaya, Bhashyakara will explain. If it is very difficult to cross, then it may be almost impossible to cross. No, in the second line, taranti. Taranti. So even though it is very difficult to cross, but it is not impossible. You can resort to something and then cross it. That's what it means. Anyway, so what is the method? Prapatti, prapadyante, mameve prapadyante. One who surrenders me. What prapatti of a Vishishtadvaitin has come from this prapadyante. Pra plus pad dhatu. It's a fourth conjugation, atmanipada. Prapadyate. To resort to. To take refuge, to surrender. Prapatti is the only, that's how Vishishtadvaitin say about Prapatti, Sharanagati. But Vishishtadvaitin's Sharanagati, Prapatti is quite different from our Sharanagati. That's what I will explain you first. So, basically, the vision of the Vishishtadvaitin for moksha is to go to Vaikuntha, where Lord resides, Narayana resides. Right? You get a permanent resident. You become a permanent resident there. You get a PR. All the time you will have a darshanam of Narayana and you will be happy. What is your moksha? I will be happy forever. Right? Nitya vastu. So therefore I will be happy there forever. And to remain happy, you should have a proper body. To be in this body and to remain happy forever is not possible. By the evening, I will have some pain here or maybe a headache. Or having this type of gross body, which is subject to prarabdha, well, then you are subject to sukha dukkha both. Going to a different realm, different world, Vaikuntha, you get an appropriate body, which will keep you happy all the time. Living happily all the time. As though you become a timeless soul. Moksha. This wonderful thing. What should we do? Upasana. Upasana, meditation? No. Vishishtadvaitin says, you can attain this Vaikuntha Loka, where Paramatma resides, well, by upasana, which has two aspects. One is a bhakti, other is a prapatti. Both. You require both. And bhakti has a certain 7 features. Prapatti also has been defined by Ramanujacharya ji. Anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyati iti vishwasaha goptrutve varanam tatha atmanikshepa karpanye shodhatu sharanagatihi. So you should have this attitude in this life to get a PR. What? First thing is anukulyasya sankalpaha. You should be all the time friendly to all the people. Or you should have what is favorable to Narayana, that should be favorable in this life for you. What is favorable to Narayana, that should be favorable to you. Whatever is anukulam to Lord is anukulam for me. Sometimes it happens, right? Husband or wife tells, whatever you like, I will like. Wonderful attitude. Friendly attitude. Creating a harmony. So prapatti involves, the first prapatti, sharanagati, is of this type. Friendly to everyone, or like this. Pratikulyasya varjanam. Avoid anything which is pratikula to Ishvara. Ishvara considers certain things as a pratikulam. Better know it. And so accordingly you remain away from that. Or avoid any kind of a violence here, let us say. Right? Because Veda, which is the language of Ishvara, says ahimsa paramo dharma, etc. Ishvara's warning. He said what is anukulam pratikulam in the Shastra. What is anukulam to me, pratikulam to me has been told. We may not call him. We may not do any WhatsApp, etc. He will not reply. But it has been told already. So, anukulyasya sankalpaha. Patikulyasya varjanam. Then third, rakshishyati iti vishwasaha. Third thing in prapatti, sharanagati is, Ishvara, the Narayana, will definitely protect me. That kind of a faith. Iti vishwasaha. Total faith that Lord will protect me. In this life you should have this kind of a shraddha. Then, goptrutve varanam tatha varanam. So you pray to the Lord. Keep praying. Oh Lord, may you protect me. So that is goptrutve. Gup dhatu is there. Gup rakshane. So goptrutvam varane tatha. Atmanikshepa karpanye. Atmanikshepa. Atmanikshepa means submitting oneself to Ishvara. And karpanya, humility. These are the 6 types of sharanagati that you should have in this life if you want a PR of Vaikuntha Loka. That's what it has been said. And second thing is you should have a bhakti, which has certain 7 features, they say. Well, ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhihi. Well, that viveka, that ahara. Ahara means ahriyante iti ahara. What has been consumed by the various sense organs is called ahara, not just by one sense organ called tongue. No. Ahara, the general meaning is bhojanam, food. But every sense organ has its own food. That's called ahara. So ahara shuddhau. Take this ahara, food for various sense organs, by viveka. Because the shuddhi there is shuddhi here. Because ultimately every ahara goes here in the mind. So ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhihi Such viveka should be there. That is the first feature of the bhakti. Then, if you have such a viveka, that will lead to freedom from what? Freedom from worldly desires, ultimately. Vimoksha. Vimokaha, they call it. Vivekaha, vimokaha. Second feature of the bhakti. And then all the time, keep the bhavana of Ishvara in your mind. Abhyasaha. Then, keep doing Shrauta Smarta Karma. Alertly. Called Kriya. These are various features of bhakti. And then Satyam, etc. So, if you have both, if you have this Sharanagati, sixfold Sharanagati, and if you have this kind of a bhakti, in which Viveka, Vimoka, etc. is involved, together it is called Upasana. If you do in this life, with a guarantee, you will be in Vaikuntha Loka. With an appropriate body. This body will fall here, and then you will be a permanent resident, all the time happy, and with a long life. So far as Vaikuntha Loka is there, called moksha. This is their prapatti, this kind of prapatti. Our prapatti is what? Where we will go to understand our prapatti. Need not worry. After few verses itself, Bhagavan has told. Verse number 19. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate. So, basically, Krishna himself answers what is prapatti for the Vedantin in the 19th verse. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan. What type of a jnanam? Vasudevah sarvam aham. So this is our prapatti. Jnanavan mam prapatte. Sharanagati in terms of knowledge. So Jnanavan, Jnani, is a one who has really surrendered, have a prapatti of the Ishvara. So we should become a Jnana Bhakta. Swamiji, it is very difficult. It's all in words. Even for you, Swami. So, how to get it? So there are 3 steps. 3 or 4 steps. 3 steps, let us say. First thing is, surrender to Ishvara when you are in midst of suffering. And so you become a bhakta, devotee. Right? You become a devotee. Artha bhakta. And then second thing is, whenever you have a desire which you want to fulfill, surrender to Ishvara. Ask to him. So artharthi. Arthasya arthi. So, dhanakama, etc. You have some desire, worldly desire, but you surrender to him, ask to him. So, arthaha artharthi. And after devotion in terms of this, as devotee in terms of artha and artharthi, ultimately gets converted into a desire in that person of knowing the Ishvara. So desire to know the truth of Ishvara, he becomes a jignasu, and then ultimately he will gain the knowledge and gain this fulfillment also. So our Sharanagati is in terms of ultimately knowledge. That's what we say. Anyway, so this is the essence of the verse. Now what Bhashyakara says regarding the verse. Daivi, first word in the shloka, Daivi Hiesha, Daivi Hi Esha. Bhashyakara explains every word as it appears in the shloka. Daivi, Devasya. But what is Devasya? Mama Ishwarasya. Why Mama Ishwarasya? Bhagavan is telling, right? Mama Ishwarasya. Then further, Vishnoho Swabhuta. He Yasmat Yesha Yathokta Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. Dukkhena Atyayaha Atikramanam Yasyaha Sa Duratyaya. Simple. So Daivi in the shloka is equal to Devasya. Devasya, again belonging to the Deva only, belonging to Paraprakriti. This Maya, the Paraprakriti, belongs to Paraprakriti, which you want to cross over, which you don't want to lean upon, because you will fall down, you have a fear. But then to get rid of the suffering in my life, what to do? Well, you have to cross over. What to do? So, well, that's what I'm showing you. So he's explaining this. This Daivi means it belongs to Deva, the Paraprakriti, it belongs to me. Mama Ishwarasya means I am that Paraprakriti who is the Lord of the universe. This I used by Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita either goes with Aparaprakriti, either goes with Paraprakriti. In chapter 11, when he says, look at me, who has in this Virat Rupa, right? That is Aparaprakriti. His eye is placed in the Aparaprakriti, in form of Jagat, entire Jagat. And elsewhere, when he talks about Atma, etc., well, in terms of Paraprakriti also. So Krishna uses the word I in both the ways, and Mama Ishwarasya, which belongs to me, I am the Paraprakriti, Ishwaraha, Vishnoho, which is called all-pervading Vishnu, and Swabhuta, belonging to the Paraprakriti. Swabha means me, the Paraprakriti. Bhutas, which is in the form of me alone, means which belongs to me, is this Maya. He means yasmat, since, or therefore, let us say, means giving a reason. Some reason is, what is the reason? Well, in this shloka, Bhagavan says you should surrender to me to cross over Maya. And then the question will definitely occur, to cross over Maya, why should I surrender to you? That's a question. So Krishna gives the reason. For that purpose, he is there. Yasmat, since. So, because Maya is belonging to me, Daivi, Vishnoho, Mama Ishwarasya, Swabhuta, etc., means this Maya is belonging to me. I am the master of the Maya. And therefore, well, if you want, you have fear from this Aparaprakriti, etc., you have to resort to the master. People here have a pet animals, wild animals, right? And they keep in captive in their home. Some enclosed area they keep, including I have seen a video in which animals like our lions, tigers, cheetah. Somewhere in Midwest, some video was there of that Midwest. One person has all these animals. Suppose you are invited to see them. Even though captive ones in a central enclosed area, they are free. And as you enter, they will approach. What will you do? Immediately you will rush to the master. Master will say, come on, Rocky. So then, whatever, Rocky, Robert, whatever is in the name. So when you have a fear for something, then you don't approach it, but you approach the master of it. That's an experience with the dogs I have here. Yeah. The dogs which are unleashed and they are moving around. And if I'm taking a walk, I immediately rush to the master of that dog, the owner of the dog. And then he will call the dog. Come on, don't do this, etc., etc. So this is how it is. So where you have to surrender, if you have a fear for this Maya, etc., you surrender to the master. To indicate that reason, Daivi, Yesha, Gunam, Mama Ishwarasya, Vishnoho, Swabhuta, etc., Bhashyakara is giving this. Yesha means Yathokta, which we have already said in the previous verse. So, and we have also mentioned as Aparaprakriti before also. Yathokta. Especially Yathokta, you can include verse number 12 and 13, where clearly Bhagavan mentioned about this Maya. Gunamayi, consisting of 3 gunas. Mama Maya, this Maya of mine. Duratyaya, dukkhena atyayaha, atikramanam yasyaha sa. Means difficult to cross over, difficult to conquer, difficult to master. Well, this Aparaprakriti is like this. Well, how to manage? Answer is in the second line of the verse. That Bhashyakara explains. Tatra evam sati sarvadharman parityajya mameva mayavinam swatmabhutam sarvatmana ye prapadyante te mayam etam sarvabhuta mohinim taranti atikramanti samsara bandhanat muchyante iti arthaha. Tatra evam sati. This being so, very difficult to cross over, as well as Ishvara is the master of it, etc., etc. So since Paraprakriti is the master, Ishvara is the master of Maya, Paraprakriti, Sarvadharman parityajya ye prapadyante. So those people who surrender unto me, again prapadyante. So those people who surrender unto me, well, how do they surrender? Sarvadharman parityajya. So by using the word Sarvadharman parityajya, Bhagavan says, fly over to this verse, chapter 18, 66th verse. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam, again there. So we have to pull the meaning here from there, because Bhashyakara does not say further. Sarvadharman parityajya, etc. Mamekam sharanam vraja, etc. So anyway, there the meaning is given. Sharanam vraja, Bhashyakara explains it as a Ishvara aham iti avadharaya. Ishvara aham. That Bhagavan is me. Ishvara aham iti avadharaya. Nishchitya. May you have a clear knowledge that I am that Paraprakriti. That is called Sharanam Vraja. That is called surrender. The clear knowing is surrender. There is no other surrender other than this knowing. In Vedanta, our Vedanta. Vishishtadvaitin will have a different thing. Avadharaya means a conviction, you can say. Conviction. You are totally convinced with this knowledge that you are the Paraprakriti. Ahamiti, etc. And then, further it says, Sarvadharman parityajya. So, well, it has a profound meaning. Sarvadharman parityajya means what? Their dharma has been defined in that verse by Bhashyakara as a punya papa karma. Sarvadharman parityajya means having given up all punya papa karmas. All types of karmas, which include dharma, includes punya papa both. So, sarvadharman parityajya, sarva punya papa karman parityaga. Anyway, how do you do? You cannot do. Punya papa karma means all types of karmas you give it up. How will you do? That's impossible. While living, it's impossible. How to do that thing? Well, Bhashyakara explains that kartrutva abhimana parityaga. Punya papa karmas are given up. Karmas as such, in totality, can be given up by only one thing, and that is giving up the kartrutva. Identifying with the kartrutvam which is there somewhere else. Don't identify with that. Don't say, I am karta, I am doing action. I, the Atma, is actionless. Why actionless? Because partless. Why partless? Because it is partless. Anything which has parts, which will fall apart. Then, Atma being Parmeshwara, if Atma falls apart, means Parmeshwara falls apart, means Parmeshwara will be destroyed. That cannot be. Parmeshwara must be partless. Then Atma is partless. If Atma is partless, Atma is actionless. Simple. Any action involves a movement, and the movement of parts. I am moving. My hand is moving. See? I am moving means my hand is moving. Anytime any action involves a movement and movement of parts. Action involves movement. That's how Nayayikas define. Chalanatmakam karma. And therefore, thing which has a parts will have action. Anything which has parts is always limited. Whatever big. And therefore, well, the thing which is partless is limitless. Therefore, with this logic we support. So, I am actionless. Body, mind, senses all perform actions in my presence. I as though bless them. They become conscious. Mind becomes conscious and starts thinking, recognizing, deciding, everything, emoting. Senses function in my presence naturally. Pranas function. Everything functions merely in my presence. And I am ever presence. Sat. I am ever present consciousness. Well, knowing this, sarva dharman parityajya. Sarva karma tyagaha. Kartrutva tyagaha. So it is not sarvakarma parityaga means sitting in meditation. So that is what even Bhagavan said. Pashyan, shunvan, sprushan, jigran, achan, ashnan, gachan, swapan, shwasan, pralapan, naiva kinchit karomiti. Are? Pashyan, shunvan, you are seeing, you are listening, and you are saying, naiva kinchit karomiti. So while actions are there at some level, before, I was a doer before. Now I came to know that I am a non-doer. No, you are non-doer before also, but you are not knowing. You had a notion, due to ignorance of one's nature, you had a notion that I am a doer, etc. Anyway, so this is Bhashyakara says. And then further is Sarvadharman Parityajya Mam Eva Mayavinam. Mayavinam. What is Mayavi? One who holds the Maya, the Paraprakriti, holds this Paraprakriti. So Mam Eva, Mam Mayavinam, Swatma Bhutam. And don't think that I am saying I am Paraprakriti, Bhagavan says. Swa Atma Bhutam, Bhashyakara says. Swa Atma means one's own self. You can also say the same thing. So I am Paraprakriti, even you can also say. This is a Mahavakya like a thing. Mayavinam Swatma Bhutam. Ishvara, who is a Mayavi, Adhishthanam of the Maya, right, is Swatma Bhutam, Swatma Bhutam, Swatma Rupam, Swarupam, who is in the nature of one's own self. Ye prapadyante, who surrender to that, te, such jnani bhaktas, Advaita jnanis, te etam mayam, they, this Maya, taranti. They will cross over this. And what kind of a Maya? Sarvabhuta Mohinim. Sarvabhuta Mohinim. Who seduces everyone, deludes everyone by Avarana Shakti. So things are created, but things are just a projection of Maya only. The reality of everything is Astibhati Priyam. That's an essence of everything. Not knowing. Avaranam. So taking oneself as a jiva, taking the jagat as a jagat, jiva, jagat, both is nothing but a manifestation of this Brahman through Maya. Not understanding that. Creating duality also. I am different, this is different, etc. I am experiencer, this is experienced, everything. So this whole thing is Sarvabhuta Mohinim. It dilutes everything. Amazing thing it is. Amazing. The one appears as many. The consciousness appears as Jadam. Everything is Jadam. Prapancha, that's how I said. Pancha, 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 pancha. Iti prapancha, prakrishta. Everything is fivefold. And that fivefold, five elements. Jadam. Whole thing is Jadam. There is not Jadam at all. All pervading in and through. Everything is consciousness. And free from all attributes. No, appears as all attributes. All kinds of attributes are there. All kinds of forms and colors and sounds and whatnot. All taste. This is Mohini. Without undergoing any change. Brahman remaining Brahman through Maya appears like this and does avaranam, dilutes this jiva. That there are no three things. I am different, Jagat is different, Ishvara is different from me. Nothing. Sarvabhuta, Bhashyakara says, Sarvabhuta Mohini. And surrendering in terms of knowledge, surrendering in terms of gaining knowledge, in terms of Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, Atikramanti, Taranti, they cross over. Crossover Maya means what? What happens? They fly to Vaikuntha. Then this is a escapist moksha. I don't want to return to Prithvi Loka because all problems again with the Maya. No. Giving up the identification with this body, mind, sense complex. This much is required. Once you give up an identification, knowing that, they are non-separate from you, you are the consciousness in which they exist. They have an existence. When you say body, body consciousness, mind consciousness, what is not pervaded by consciousness? So when you don't place your eye in the body, mind, sense complex and place in the real I called consciousness, then you find there is no other entity. So Taranti is in terms of knowledge. The bondage is created by our own ignorance. I am the body. Then I say I'm bound in time. I have birth, death, old age, this, that. So Taranti, we have to understand, crossing this apara prakriti, crossing this maya, crossing the body, mind, sense complex, made up of 3 gunas, is in terms of knowledge. This is real prakriti. Initially you may have artha, etc., right? Artha, artharthi. I am in problem. Okay, take a surrender. I want few things. Take a surrender. Then you one day you will come, you want to know who is the one who gives you everything. Many things in most all people's lives, thousands of things are there which you have not desired, yet you have, and they are useful to you. You check. Who is providing? Really? Right? Just see in your home that whatever I have desired, only those things are there. No, sir. You have many things which is a part of your life which you have not desired, but it has come in your life. Right? And it has come at a proper time, appropriate time, and has served a very good purpose, has become a part of your life now. Then who is the one? Must be some conscious being. Must be some conscious being. Most inert thing, how will it know? And therefore, then who is this giver? Jignasa. You become jignasu. But once you have jignasa, you will explore, he is the self, etc. Gnani. These are the stages of that. So, samsara bandhanat pramuchyante iti artha. Bhashakara says very clearly, the gnani bhaktas become free from samsara. That's what I said, between verse number 13 to 14 to 19 is the topic of cause of a samsara and the solution to get rid of the samsara. Still some verses are there. Well, we will see after the break. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.